Hi, Movie Explainer here. Suppose you find a meat so irresistibly good that you rush back to the shop for a feast, only to realize later that it's not your typical cow or pork, it's human meat. Buckle up, because today we're going to recap a movie with that kind of plot. And hey, don't forget to take care of your taste buds. They might need a break after this one. The movie begins with Vincent and Sophie, a married couple grappling with the challenges of their failing butcher's shop. Their world takes a dark twist when a vegan activist group, donning eerie pig and cow masks, rains havoc on their store. Vincent manages to catch one of the assailants, glimpsing the culprit's face, but the group returns and rescues him. In search of solace, Vincent and Sophie visit the prosperous household of their friends, Mark and Stephanie, who boast a flourishing butcher shop. Over lunch, the gaping disparity in their financial successes becomes a silent but palpable undertone. They share the incident of a vegan's attack on their shop. In return, Mark mocks Vincent for not being able to secure his shop. He then presents Vincent with a gift, a gun for protection against potential threats from vegan extremists. On the journey home, tensions escalate between Vincent and Sophie, reaching a breaking point when Sophie demands a divorce, citing her inability to endure life with a failing butcher. Vincent, disheartened and frustrated, chooses silence. However, their emotional turmoil takes a back seat when Vincent spots a vegan who attacked their shop. Fueled by anger, he takes swift action and reverses, unintentionally causing the man's demise. Vincent insists it was an accident, not an intentional act of violence. He contemplates involving the police, only to be halted by Sophie, who reveals the unlicensed gun in the car. She proposes a chilling alternative, taking the lifeless body to their butcher shop and dismembering it for disposal. Vincent is shocked by his wife's cold determination, but reluctantly agrees. They transport the corpse to the shop, and under the cover of night, Vincent starts chopping up the body with a haunting meat cleaver. In a disturbing twist, Vincent's dog becomes an unwitting participant, devouring the fallen ear from the gruesome scene. Intrigued by the canine's appetite, Vincent throws the other ear to the floor, and the dog readily eats it like a cookie. Since it's already midnight, Vincent decides to leave the chopped body and dispose of it tomorrow. He heads upstairs to the bedroom, only to be met with Sophie's icy directive to sleep on the couch, a clear sign she's still harboring resentment. The next morning, Vincent wakes up late and descends the stairs. To his horror, the dismembered human body from the night before has vanished. Panic sets in, but before he can voice his concerns, a regular customer strolls in, praising Sophie for the exceptional ham she bought earlier in the morning. She is amazed by the taste of that meat and asks for more. Vincent realizes what just happened and attempts to divert the sale, but the determined customer insists on the same ham. Sophie, oblivious to the gruesome truth, encourages Vincent to fulfill the request. As he reluctantly complies, the lady commends the meat's quality and asks about which animal's meat it is. A bit hesitant, Vincent explains that it's special Iranian pork. Sophie, eager to taste it herself, joins in the praise, unaware that they're lauding human flesh. Once the customer departs, Vincent confesses to Sophie that they just sold human meat. Initially shocked, Sophie sees an opportunity, suggesting that using the meat might be the best way to dispose of the body. Vincent hesitates, but their debate is interrupted by another customer seeking the same Iranian pork. The news spreads like wildfire, drawing a swarm of customers. With demand soaring, Vincent and Sophie capitalize on the macabre windfall, raking in money and effectively disposing of the evidence. Vincent even takes a piece home, relishing the twisted success. Inspired by their newfound fortune, Sophie proposes a vengeful plan to kill the vegan activists, both for profit and to punish them for their dietary choices, but Vincent disagrees. The next day, their daughter arrives with her boyfriend, Lucas. As Vincent serves dinner, Lucas drops a bombshell: he's a vegan. Their attempts to share a family meal are thwarted, leaving them bewildered as their daughter and Lucas depart without tasting a morsel. Vincent's pretty ticked off with his daughter and her vegan lover, so he reluctantly jumps on board with Sophie's nutty idea to hunt and sell vegan meat in their butcher shop. Late at night, Vincent sets his sights on a chunky vegan restaurant owner, waving a meat cleaver like he's auditioning for a horror movie. But lo and behold, he wimps out and peels out of there. The next day, they hit the streets, posing as part-time vegans and handing out flyers against meat. Their genius plan seems to be working when a lanky vegan gives them the nod. They set up a meetup, but when Vincent tries to pull out his meat cleaver, he realizes this dude's got some pals, so he decides not to kill him right now. The vegans suggest attacking a meat processing plant owned by none other than their buddies, Mark and Stephanie. Again, Vincent hesitates a bit, but is encouraged by Sophie, and together they wreak havoc at their friend's shop. The scene then shifts to the next day in a restaurant, where Vincent and Sophie have a full-on brawl about their quirky hobby of hunting humans. Vincent storms off, leaving Sophie alone. Then a smooth-talking waiter, who's a closet vegan, starts flirting with Sophie. She requests that he drop her off at her home. Upon arriving, Sophie kisses the waiter and intentionally bites his tongue. She then invites him in to clean up the mess. Inside, she offers Vincent to kill the waiter or hear her moan, while she will be having pleasure with that vegan. This infuriates Vincent, who finds the waiter naked in his living room, waiting for Sophie, and kills him without thinking twice. They tidy up, chop up the body, and guess what? They sell the meat as Iranian pork in their shop. Fast forward to the next day, and Vincent and Sophie are putting on their best poker faces to meet Mark and Stephanie, pretending to be utterly devastated by their loss. Just when Vincent's trying to keep up the act, a cop sidles up to him, making him sweat bullets, thinking the police might be onto his rather unique business practices. But the cop's not there to bust anyone. He's there for the legendary Iranian pork. He's heard through the grapevine that nothing beats Vincent's Iranian pork. With a huge sigh of relief, Vincent spills the beans that he's got plenty of Iranian pork in stock, and even promises a fresh batch on the horizon. The very next day, the cop reaches their shop, eager to get his hands on that Iranian pork. Surprisingly, their grim business venture takes off like a rocket. Vincent and Sophie's butcher shop is booming, with lines stretching around the block. Can you believe it? The couple, once on the brink of divorce, is now the poster child for wedded bliss. Life's a crazy thing, huh? Then, out of the blue, an invitation to lunch at Mark and Stephanie's place arrives. Our duo, always ready for a bizarre twist, brings along their infamous Iranian pork, aka human meat. Stephanie and Mark, unsuspecting taste testers, are actually blown away by the flavor. But wait, the drama's not over. An unexpected object, resembling a pacemaker, ends up in Mark's mouth. Quick on his feet, Vincent covers it up, diverting attention like a pro. The boasting, however, spirals into a full-on brawl between Vincent and Mark. To everyone's dismay, Vincent takes a bite out of Mark's ear, creating a cringe-worthy spectacle. He plays it cool though, spitting it out to avoid arousing suspicion. Vincent and Sophie, seemingly unscathed, exit the chaotic scene, continuing their twisted adventures and raking in the dough. Their relationship, against all odds, is on the upswing. They decide to hit a vegan festival, but Vincent's dark cravings take center stage again. He spots a plump kid, and his urges get the best of him. He's become a full-blown cannibal, unable to control his desires and contemplating leaving the bizarre life they've carved out. As they try to make a discreet exit, they run smack into Lucas and their daughter. Lucas, understandably shocked, lays into them, accusing Vincent and Sophie of being downright butchers. Now here's where it gets really wild. Their argument catches the ears, pun intended, of one of the vegan activists who tagged along to attack Mark and Stephanie's place. Vincent and Sophie decide it's time to bail and head outside. Lo and behold, they spot a chubby woman and, without skipping a beat, launch an attack. They drag her back to their shop for a midnight butchering session. In the dead of night, just as they're knee-deep in their gruesome activity, a knock on the door startles them. It's the cop, genuinely concerned about the late-night lights. Vincent replies that they just sold all the meat and are now doing cleaning, which is why the lights are on. The cop enters the shop, raving about the meat like it's the next big thing. The cop tells him about the missing vegans in the area. Vincent, being a slick operator, puts on a sad face, acting like he's devastated by the news. And then Vincent's dog struts in, proudly flaunting a human hand in its mouth. Vincent's sweating bullets, trying to shoo the dog away without tipping off the cop. It's clear he's freaked out. As soon as the officer leaves, Vincent spills the beans to Sophie. He's all jittery, thinking he's losing it. Sophie, the voice of reason, reassures him that they've covered their tracks, scattered the evidence, and no one's the wiser. But Vincent's nerves are shot. He's had enough and wants out. The fear of getting caught is eating him alive, and he's convinced he's going bonkers. Sophie, ever the opportunist, reminds him of the fat stacks they're raking in and how rosy their situation is. Just when they're in the middle of this oh-so-pleasant conversation, there's a knock on the door. It's Lucas on a peace mission, apologizing for his little tantrum. Lucas spills about the stress he's under with all his vegan buddies vanishing. Sophie, with a subtle glance at Vincent, hints that maybe Lucas should be the next item on their menu. However, Vincent, hit by an unexpected wave of morality, shows Lucas the door and calls it quits on the whole human hunting, meat-selling spectacle. The next day, customers show up at the shop, hungry for that famous Iranian pork, but Vincent drops the bomb that it's all over. The two begin to argue, and Vincent leaves in a rage, saying he will never sell human meat. And just when you thought things couldn't get crazier, The vegan activist squad, who once teamed up with Vincent and Sophie, shows up. Revenge is on their minds, and they've got payback plans for Sophie, whom they blame for their vegan friend's demise. They give her a beating and set the stage for her own demise. Meanwhile, clueless Vincent strolls back to the shop, only to find it closed and a shady vegan activist van parked outside. When Sophie's on the brink of becoming a vegan sacrifice, Vincent bursts in, unleashing chaos. A full-blown brawl ensues, with Vincent and his trusty dog taking on the vegans. It's a bloody mess, but they manage to take down 2 of the vengeful vegans. The last one, however, gets Vincent right in the gut. Just when it seems like the game is over, Sophie unties herself and blindsides the last vegan with a good old eye poke. Cut to the next scene, and Vincent and Sophie are in court, facing the consequences of their human hunting escapade. They were found guilty of killing more than 30 people. The real shocker, Mark and Stephanie ratted them out after that incident of pacemaker and ear munching. The movie wraps up with Vincent and Sophie facing their punishments. Phew, if you made it through this roller coaster, you deserve a movie buff badge. Now hit that like button, and if you're hungry for more wild movie recaps, subscribe to the Movie Explainer channel to never miss an update.